Justin, you look beautiful.
Hi there.
Hi, Rylan. You're on twice, Justin, or what? I can't hear you yet, Justin.
You're muted, Justin.
There we go.
You're on twice.
I'm on twice. I only seen you once.
Yeah, it's got your beautiful wife in the background.
Still?
Yeah, it says RLFUL. Is that you? Maybe not. Who's RLFUL? Maybe someone else.
Me.
Okay, I see you now, Justin. Hi. Oh, we're going to have a nice full meeting here. This is great. Maybe Peter is RLFUL for some reason.
Here's Trish.
I look pretend. I need to move. I need to turn lights on behind me, don't I? Or is this fine? That's probably fine, right?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Dawn.
This may be the first meeting ever I've made it on time.
Yay!
Not early, not late.
I love it. Maybe RLFUL is Kathy? I don't know. But Dan's on here. He's hiding, right, Dan?
Maybe RLFUL is Ron Fuller.
Yay, it is Ron Fuller. Nice to see your initials there, Ron.
I am a real newbie at this Zoomy stuff, so I think this is the first time I have said anything on Zoom.
How did you get so lucky to wait this long?
Well, I don't know. Being old has its privileges, you know. I'm going to mute.
Retired after
I'm going to mute now and listen to you guys.
All right, Ron. Well, thank you for letting us know who you are. And I will let Peter know when he gets on. That's fantastic. So those of you that are fairly new, Ron Fuller lives on Lake Zumbro, and his wife Mary is heavily involved with the History Center. So I'm thrilled that Ron was able to log in today. This is great. And that's the Orinoco History Center. So, I think everybody's, we've got lots of people here. Dana told me that she'd be late. She's actually at a different meeting right away. And I feel like I need to turn a light on, or are we okay? Am I okay?
No, you're good.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So, we do have one addition to the agenda, and all that is as far as I know anyway, that the one addition that I have is a trail sign on the lake bed. So we can talk about that. Does anyone else have anything they can think of that needs to be added on here?
Katie, there was a email that I forwarded to you and Lance and Dan, I think, regarding DNR grants for Emerald Ash Borer. I don't know if you had a chance to look at that. For Lance?
Yes, I saw it very briefly, and so that can go under the DNR grant opportunities. That'll be great.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's totally fine. And if you're okay now, Ryland, are you able to stay the whole time?
I am.
Awesome.
Until I fall asleep, otherwise I'm okay.
No, we're gonna wake you up, and we're not gonna be that long because we don't want to scare Ron away. Okay, so Ryland, if you wouldn't mind, or does anyone else have anything for the agenda? Lance, it looks like you're trying to tell me something, but I can't hear you.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yes?
I would like to discuss something about the garden park and perhaps adding some plants. Prairie Moon has flats of plants that we could add to the mix down there, and they would be about roughly $150 with shipping And so it's just something to add to discuss whether or not it's useful or not. And then I also am working on the. I've had a map of Orinoco Park with the GPS trail on it, and I don't know exactly what to do with it. So if somebody can give me advice, I will figure that out and give it to whoever can put it on the website.
Ryland, is it Kathy or Jerry Lynn that's taking over doing that website stuff? I feel like they still need to contact someone else to get stuff in.
Jerry Lynn's been updating most of it lately.
Okay. Well, then
Yes.
I can scan it when I get it done and send it to her.
That would be great. And if you don't mind copying me on it just for fun, Lance, then I know it's
All right.
in process. Cool.
If I may add one more item, and it's just something that has come up. I got an email about where Riverwood Hills Park was at. And I thought we had a map on the website showing where all of our parks are. And so I think that'd be a good item to consider.
When you looked for it, you could not find it?
I couldn't find it.
Okay, it's in there.
I've seen
It's
one
just,
before, but
well, I should say it was in there, but it's possible it got taken out. So yeah, we need to check on that. All right. And I'm wondering if that's something that would be easy to have on the Facebook page somewhere somehow, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to think of that. Okay. All right. So Ryland, are you available to give us an update on the Zumbro Water Trail?
sure.
Okay.
In December, we being the group committee of Brett Oatsby and two people from SEH, Andy Masterpole and Mark Miller, and myself. And we gave a presentation to the Zumbro 1 Watershed Action Plan. It was their policy committee, which is essentially the governing board. So we gave them an overview of our regional park, and some were familiar with it already, so that was good. But it was just meant to be a general overview in front of them. Nothing really didn't come out of the meeting as far as direction or anything, but there might be a possibility the shareholder or the governing board could be part of that issue or part of that group, but that's to be determined. But it's more of awareness and information for a meeting. I did notice that they had, and we talked about it briefly, they had $5,000 in their budget for this year for the regional water trail. So that's something we can possibly use for financing. So right now we have the four of us are meeting this Wednesday, and in preparation for going back to the county reps, which we had our last meeting in early December, I think it was. So there's reps from Olmsted, Dodge, Goodhue, and Wabasha. And that was really and we started meeting with those people last summer, early fall. They brought up some good questions about funding for the governing board, how it's going to be arranged. So from a financial standpoint, we've gotten $4,600 from the Operation Roundup. And we're also committed $14,000 from the Olmsted county budget. That was a line item that was put into the budget. Dodge, Goodhue, and Wabasha all indicated it was too late to put a line item into their budget, but there is some hope that there's some miscellaneous funding available for us that could help us through the year. So right now we have $18,600 for SEH to work towards working on the project, on the master development, which should help us do the surveys, getting those set up, and some mapping done. And so our goal for this year is to get those surveys out to the residents in the 11 cities, and that'll be distributed through the counties to their respective cities in those counties. So that's kind of our goal, and we'll be formalizing that a little bit more when we speak, when we get together on Wednesday morning, and then also for the county rep sometime in mid-February. And then the stakeholders, which is the larger group, which is everybody that has been expressed interest in understanding what's going on. we'll be hopefully doing a meeting late February, just kind of give them an update from when we met last, I think in July we had a meeting, was our last stakeholders meeting. So that's what's happening there. Any questions for me?
Well, Trish, I'm going to need some help. So Peter's on vacation. He says he's going to try to log in, but I don't see him yet. So I'll try and write out the minutes, but I'm just hoping, Trish, that you would help me review them, okay?
Yes.
So you have to stay awake, right, Rylan? Just kidding. You look too comfortable. I'm jealous. But
No problem. So those are the highlights from the Zumbro Water Trail. And most of probably because of COVID, they'll all be virtual meetings. They will be. I don't believe we have anticipating, and there's no place big enough to have a stakeholders face-to-face meeting like we did back in May or July. So, well, in July we did, but May was he was virtual too.
Rylan, I had a question. You mentioned some of the cities had not put or had not yet budgeted for it. So is this a multi-year event where they could budget for it next year?
Yes, and that was their response. They would do something for us in 2022 in their budget.
Okay.
But we're hoping that through this year there'll be some miscellaneous funding that we can get a few thousand. Each county was asked for 14,000. So if we can get some miscellaneous funding, which is a possibility, then we'll see what is required for 2022.
And what is the initial 20,000 or is, what is that paying for, or what is that? What is the first, I guess, financial liability on this? Not liability, but cost on this.
Right. Between 58 and 60,000, I think, is the goal for SEH to put a contract together, to put the master development together and submit it to the Greater Minnesota Regional Parks and Commission for their evaluation. And with that approval, that would open up legacy funding for us.
Okay.
So it's really to get us to the start of actively being a project.
So I think they do that for parks, and this is that it's required to have a master plan before you can apply for, before you can be considered. Okay, got it. Good. All right. It's nice that they're doing it for multi parks.
It's a multi-park, multi-year, and then even when we get our development done at the end of 2021, we still have to submit plans, and it has to be evaluated, and the funding will come year by year. We won't get all the funding, or how much that is. We haven't determined that yet. But
sure.
So it could take 5-10 years. It's hopefully not that long, but yeah. But we have to have the master plan to start anything. So.
Okay, good.
Any other questions?
Peter wants to know if we need him for a quorum. It's possible, although, because Lance, we can never decide if Lance counts or not, but I think he does.
Nobody's fired me, but I consider myself ex officio.
What do you think, Trish? Dana will be joining in a little bit, so maybe we can let Peter off the hook. He wants to know. I told him we could let him off the hook this month since he's out of town.
I think we've got enough. We're good.
Right? All right. Peter, thank you for checking in. All right. Okay. So I apologize because I didn't really review the city council minutes under parks. I don't know if there's anything in depth from December. What makes you?
December notes?
Yeah, December city council minutes. Do you have those?
Yeah. No, I don't have in front of me. I've got January's.
Oh yeah, January happened. What happened in January, Rylan?
Well, as far as parks go, the Lions Club has approached the council about having a kind of a social event sometime in February with hot chocolate and a box of rental skates for people to use, and Trish has donated a couple fire pits. She says she has a lot of wood, but she'll probably be cutting trees down yet this February. But no, so she offered a couple fire pits and Lions. Mick Miller was there to present the Lions asking if we could do it. So
now, is that
it'll be advertised probably on Citizens for Orinoco Facebook or something like that when it's officially what dates they have it.
What's Mr. Miller's first name? Is it Nicholas or?
It's Mick.
M-I-C-K?
Just a second.
So they have a whole bunch of skates?
What's that?
They have a whole bunch of ice skates?
Somebody has Dean Radke, I guess, has a lot of skates.
Okay.
It's Mike Mueller. M-I-K-E.
Oh, Mike Mueller even.
M-U-L-L-E-R.
Okay. Cool.
They were asking about heating the warming shed, and the more we talked about it, the more we kind of leaned them towards the fire pits, and that's when Trish offered the fire pits, so that's great. They're looking at two dates, early February, late February, depending on the weather and the rink. So, yeah, hope it happens.
So it'd probably be like something that might even be advertised on Wednesday and would happen on Saturday or Sunday or something?
We suggest they advertise through their website and also the Citizens for Orinoco Facebook page. That seems to attract a lot of people that are interested in ice skating.
Okay. Fantastic.
Anything else?
Okay.
Anything else, Trish?
From the council?
No, I guess not.
Okay. All right. All right. So I always have budget items on here, but I think that's just kind of by each topic. So the next thing I'd like to bring up is the Master Gardener program. And it's really exciting. We have several people that are interested in working in Orinoco on their, they have to do a certain number of volunteer hours. So Dawn, you're familiar with Master Gardeners, right?
I am. I'm also familiar with Master Naturalists. I'm more familiar with Master Naturalists than Master Gardeners, but yes.
Okay. So those of you that aren't too familiar with it, they have to do a certain number of hours, volunteer hours. And so there's a gentleman named Tom is it Bellinger or Bellinger?
If you're asking me, I don't know that. I don't know.
Okay. So there's several people that want to work in Orinoco, and does Kathy pronounce her last name Bakken out of City Hall?
Kathy Bakken, yes.
Okay, so Kathy Bakken and I are in contact with the Master Gardener people, and we just wanted to bring it up at our Parks and Trails meeting to say that we're in favor of working with such volunteers. Do you guys agree? Do you want to have any more discussion about it, or does that sound good?
It would be great to be available for, I mean, when I think of Master Gardeners, I think of the landscaped areas and not the natural areas. And I know parks have both of them, but it would be great to have, I think, volunteers that includes Master Gardeners, Master Naturalists, and people who are neither.
For the natural and the
right
manicured areas, right?
Right.
And there'll be a few costs involved in this here and there, but nothing that we know about right now. Lance, one of the things that we wanted to do at the garden, at Garden Park was to possibly, I know that other areas have been doing this, other cities have been doing it where and like Lance has been doing all on his own, is they plant some vegetables, and in the plan that there'll be community vegetables that people can, come and harvest, or, like we have at the food shelf, they can be brought there. So that was one of the ideas as well that was brought up. And so I think, Ryland, do you agree that what we need to do here at our Parks and Trails meeting is just let City Council know that we're visiting with Master Gardeners and have several different projects that we'll be discussing over the next few months. And
yeah, I think that's fine. I think that just my brief conversations with Kathy, she was thinking of the landscaping around City Hall. There's a sign out on the corner of the community center. There's those concrete things down at Alice Park, plus any other part of town too. So, but I think it'd be a good FYI for Trish and Dana to bring to the council's attention. I don't think it's a big expense, and I'm sure the budget can handle it.
so,
By the way,
yes.
what
sir.
happened to the concrete planters that were on the south side of the bridge?
Those three were located down to Alice Park by the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
If I can just run an FYI, which doesn't need to be attended to during this meeting, but both the Master Naturalist and I know more about the Master Gardener and Master Naturalist. I know more about the Master Naturalist program, but I used to work for University of Minnesota Extension. They provide for both programs, and the idea is a site will sponsor, so it could be the city of Orinoco, sponsors workshops for master naturalists who then become officially master naturalists. And then they are encouraged, and usually if the site such as Orinoco sponsors such a workshop, those people are usually local and already interested in volunteering. So I know that's not what this request is, but that could be an opportunity to get more volunteers in the future.
I think that is totally part of it.
Okay, so and I'm also an instructor of master naturalists, so I could help with that. I know currently they're doing, I think, everything up by Zoom for classes, but it's a great way to sort of for volunteers to invest in Orinoco and Orinoco to invest in volunteers, and it's all local. So I'll throw that out there. I'd be happy to provide more information as needed.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Okay. So, and Lance, it's true, those big concrete planters were one of the things that the Master Gardeners were going to be willing to help us plant.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. I just did not notice that I was walking by and I noticed, those planters are gone, and I didn't realize that they'd been moved, which is fine. They're probably better placed at the park.
Awesome. Okay, so speaking of Alice Park, Ryland, are we all done with we're not all done, right? For the outdoor recreation grant, we'll be all done once those signs get put up, correct? Oh, we can't hear you. Let me see if I can press this, Ryland. Or you got it?
Okay.
Awesome.
So, yeah, the update, the grant project is, as far as the funding that's been received, there's no FEMA update. So it's just those two panels that are left to put together and give to Chad Tracy for them to print it, design and print it. So that's on my to-do list. So hopefully that's the only thing we have left to do there. So, and the reason it's closed is just because they were concerned, Public Works was concerned about that slope going down into the parking lot. Snow and ice build up if they don't get there in time, and somebody decides to use that as a ski jump going into the river. We don't want that happening either. So it was more of a safety precaution we took. Right, Dan?
He might be there, but we're not. Oh, there he is. Hi, Dan.
Hi. Yeah, that's correct. There'd been people already stuck on a small amount of snow, so that's why we closed the entrance.
And where was that? I got distracted because I'm trying to make sure I see Dana when she gets on here.
Alice Park.
Okay, so Alice Park, there was an area that you need to block off?
Well, we put up a closed sign at the entrance just because of that slope.
Oh, people were getting stuck on the driveway?
Right, yeah. They'd try to go down there right after it snowed. And
And that's
I know
not
it's-
being maintained in the winter.
It's south facing and everything, but there's a point during the day if the sun doesn't hit it, it's going to be an ice rink. So
Are we allowing walk-in access?
yes, there actually was a wedding down there 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So
Wow.
Brave people, right?
For
All right.
getting married or getting married in January.
We're getting married in COVID at Alice Park. I love it. Okay, that's wonderful, Dawn. Thank you. That was good. I needed that today. All right. So the signs would complete that grant, correct, Rylan?
The signs are in addition to the grant. So the grant money did not go towards that. That was not part of the original design.
Okay.
And we've paid for it last year's budget. We just need to, no, we haven't. We've paid for the kiosks. We still owe some money for the panels yet, but that'll be, there's budget money for that.
And then FEMA isn't going to be happening. There's some FEMA things going on. I always put it by Alice Park, but it's really on a previous lake bed, isn't it? Under
It's
the
really
bridges?
the lake bed, right?
Or is it that portage? It's the portage by Alice Park, isn't it?
Well, it's from the Highway 52 bridge to the convergence on the south branch. And there's also some work on the north branch that needs to be done as well for fixing. So that's, the design is not complete. I asked Joe last week about it. They're still working on the design. We have the funding from FEMA. That's been approved for $660,000. So it's just a matter of completing the design, going out for bids, and doing the work.
It makes sense to keep it by Alice Park, though, doesn't it?
No.
Where should we put that? Previous lake bed? I don't know. The only thing that makes sense is that portage part by Alice Park.
I'd probably put under other.
Put it way down there? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Trish, are you able to text Dana?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay, if you could just text her to tell you when I should look for her, because I have to let her in,
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind, there she is. Look at that. It's like she knew. All right, Dana, perfect timing. Let's see, we gotta probably wait a moment here for it to kick in. All right, awesome. So Dana, we literally were just talking about how I wanted you to text me when you got on so I could find you. I was gonna have Trish text you, but we're all set, so hooray. So welcome, Dana.
Thank you.
Wish we could be in person, but this works too, right?
Yes.
So I obviously don't know how people are orientated on your screen. I just know how they are on my screen. But you know Trish and you know Rylan.
Yep.
And then RLFUL is Ron Fuller. So
Okay.
do you see him?
Yep.
And his wife, Mary Fuller, is very involved with the Orinoco History Center.
Okay.
And they live at Lake Zumbro. And Ron and I met, I guess 16 years ago, right? Not 20 years ago, right, Ron? But Ron and I were involved in the Zumbro Watershed Partnership.
Yeah, I'd say 2005, something like that.
Yes. So, and then Lance is on my computer. He's called Galaxy Tab S5E.
Yep, I know Lance.
Hi, Dina.
Hi, Lance.
Good. And then Justin, have you met Justin yet?
I don't think so.
Justin, what's your subdivision called where you live?
Cedar Woodlands.
Oh,
Can you say that
okay.
again? It's hard to hear you.
Cedar Woodlands.
Yeah, so he's in Cedar Woodlands. And then, Dawn, can you tell Dana where you live?
I live in the funky lot of green buildings right next to City Hall, actually, on 4th Street Northwest.
Okay.
The green barn, the green shed.
Yep.
And then
The greenhouse.
Dana and I have teenagers that go to school together, so we know each other from that. But anyway, so I'm thrilled that you got on the Parks and Trails Committee. Welcome to City Council.
Thank you.
So on our agenda, we got as far as through Alice Park. So our next thing is Orinoco Park. And Dan and I have been in contact with Carol Olson, who would like to put the memorial bench at Orinoco Park. So in March, I think we'll have much more information as to what type it would be and so on. She was thinking that it would make sense to try to get one that matches what's already kind of there. So Dan and I are going to be working on that in the background here, and then we'll come back in March with more information. And then Dana, just to give you an update, when it says placing electrical and water lines to the campground, we're basically, it's kind of like a placeholder for when sewer comes through town. Do you guys kind of agree with that? Anybody want to make a comment on that?
I believe we had Joe taking a look at that. We know from the archaeological study there's
That's true.
a lot of artifacts in the area, so it probably is going to hinder some of our development around the around the shower house at least. And but I think he was supposed to come back with some concept. I think it was this spring, but I can't remember. Trish, can you comment on that or not?
He was supposed to come back this spring. And just so you're aware, the artifacts that were found may not hinder us. It depends on what type of artifacts have been found.
Yeah.
Even if they're Native American, sometimes they're residual versus indicating a place of residence. And so that could change the expectation of what could happen in that park. So I'm not completely blowing it out of the water just because there's been a few artifacts found. That's a really great hunting grounds for the Native American or indigenous peoples. So I would not count it out.
One other comment too is that because of that, the amount of artifacts that was found, it was decided not to use federal or state money for the sewer project. So anything we do there will be locally funded from the city, not from the state.
Okay, so that'll be a completely separate project then, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And who decided that?
That was at one of our council meetings or water and sewer meetings.
Water and sewer maybe, because council, I wasn't aware of it.
I can go back and confirm exactly, but the reason it was because if we do use federal money, then we would have it's just going to take a lot of extra work to use federal money and to work around what areas we can work in. And if we do it locally, it makes it a little bit easier to make it happen, probably.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question about, there was a few years ago, there was a group that wanted to put a disc golf course in Orinoco Park. Did that just come to fall off the table, or is that just not ever going to be considered?
So they were invited to this meeting today, but I have a feeling they haven't gotten an email from us for quite a long time.
Oh.
So what I'm going to do, Lance, is I will contact them separately.
Okay.
And visit with them, but their business is Zempo Photography, but I'm not even sure they're doing much with their photography anymore. But yes, I need to check on that because we haven't heard anything about that for a while. And Dion, how is the disc golf, since we're talking about disc golf, how is that going at Cowden? Are we needing baskets or anything like that, or anything needing to be replaced?
Well, actually, we burned the brush pile last week and went up there the next day just to see how it had burnt down, and there was a couple of cars there and they were playing disc golf. So, and I know Donnie and Jim had redone the numbering, repainted the numbers last summer. So those are fresh.
Okay, so things are going good. There aren't any expenses up there right now for the disc golf?
Are they getting what?
There isn't any maintenance that needs to be done that we would need to approve up there at this time, right?
Not to my knowledge right now. I mean, you see more once the snow melts and you start mowing.
Okay, that's fantastic though that it's being used and that you were able to get the burn piled on too, or the burn,
Right.
Cool.
Can I ask another question about Orinoco Park? Is there going to be a need for more tree seedling planting there, or are we kind of done with that out on the old lake bed?
Dan, do you have an opinion on that?
I don't have an opinion on that. I thought the lake bed itself was supposed to be prairie grass and natural growth. I don't know about the tree planting out on the lake bed itself.
And right now we're probably not aggressively doing any type of maintenance in the woods right now, right? But maybe that would be something to consider.
Well, I'm just working on well, I haven't really started writing it, but looking over at the data and about the inventory that we did and what we need to, I need to come up with a draft of a management plan or management ideas, and then for a plan to be developed by the committee.
Okay, yeah, so that's definitely something to think about, because do we need to order those things before March, or can they be ordered in early March?
Well, selection kind of disappears fairly quickly after February. So I ordered a few from Wabasha County's Soil and Water District, and if there's some that didn't make it, I have some sugar maple and some white oak that I could, and hackberry that I could offer and just plant additional. But it's not. I'm not advocating for that it's necessary. I'm just asking the question.
Well, and that's something that we need to consider for all of the parks, actually, as to which ones need, some trees planted in them. So that's, I don't know, how have we done that in the past? We just kind of.
Well, there's a budget line item for tree planting. So for that's basically to replace anything that is set up for emerald ash borer replacements and removals. So, I don't know that if there's a grant that we can look at here that Ryland sent around, maybe that's something to consider too. But I was just asking, I'm just asking for the question just to be, because if we're going to do anything, we better get them ordered pretty soon. And like I said, I don't think it's necessary this year.
So it might not be necessary this year to get those size trees, but maybe later down the road we could get bigger ones?
Right.
Okay. That sounds good.
Just one comment from the FEMA project on the rivers. There is, I believe, $15,000 that was funded by FEMA for mitigation, planting of trees along areas to help with erosion. So that's, and I don't know exactly if it's on the South Branch and the North Branch, South Branch for sure. And so there may be more trees being planted as a result of the FEMA funding too. I don't know what size trees is being designed for, but it's to help prevent erosion in those areas as well.
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that would be presented soon, or how does that work?
I'm assuming when Joe writes up, finishes the design spec to go out for bids, we'll know more exactly what they're asking for and size of trees and things like that, the details.
Okay, cool.
In Winona, they've along the trout runs, they've taken down trees to put in more prairie or wetland species to help avoid erosion. The trees were actually not helping avoid erosion. So I don't know the difference of what happens on the riverbanks, but when we could consider something that's also not trees.
And that may be part of it too. I don't know. I just know there's some mitigation for that type of thing.
Okay.
So, Lance, at this time, so we're going to move on to Garden Park. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lance, if you wanted to propose purchasing some plants to put in at Garden Park, I think that would be something that we could try to vote on here today.
Well, Prairie Moon, Dan passed on the catalog to me, and they have mixtures of pollinator species for medium to dry soils, which Garden Park certainly is, where the prairie is. And they're packs of 38 plants, and there's one that's a cost of $139, and there's another one that's a 50-pack plant that's $179. Anyway, it's a mixed. It's all forbs. Well, I guess there's a couple of grasses, but it's more. I'd be more interested in seeing more forbs, even though we seeded in that. This is sort of to boost the immediate impact, because oftentimes when you seed, it takes 2-3 years for those species to show up. They kind of linger as small plants for a while, and then all of a sudden there they are. And you kind of forget that you even put them there. So I'm just asking. I think it'd be worth spending that a little amount of money on. If we're not going to buy any tree seedlings, let's buy some plants.
So Trish and Ryland, is that something that we can propose and have City Council agree to it, or how does that work? I have an idea of how it works, but I just want to confirm that we're on the right track. So we would propose to the City Council. What's that, Trish?
Ryland, if you would unmute.
Oh yeah, we can't hear you, Ryland. There you go.
I can hear myself. So, circle back to what amount are you looking at? What dollar amount?
About $329.
No, $139, and then whatever shipping is. So I assume that it'd probably be around $150 to $160.
Okay, so you weren't aiming at getting the 2 different flats, just one
No,
flat?
I was suggesting one or the other.
One or the other.
Yeah, I think if your committee made a motion to recommend to council to purchase those, that should be no problem.
Okay.
And would one flat be good, or do we want to try to get 2?
More is always better, but I don't want to be greedy either. So if we do one flat this year and another flat next year, that'd be fine too. Dawn, what do you think? That does that sound reasonable?
I'm going to endorse greedy and go for 2.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's ask for $300 and take it out of our budget and spend it for 2 flats.
Should we go for the $329? That's what you told me. $150 plus $179.
That'd be all right. So yeah, okay, $330.
Like $330. Doesn't that sound better?
Yeah.
Up to $330.
Well, wait a minute. $139 to $179. That's $318.
I was rounding it to $150 for that shipping.
Let's go $350, and then we have shipping involved there too. So.
And we could formally request that it's like about that tree budget that we don't always get through.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have to be that specific though, do we, Trish and Ryland?
Yeah.
I would take it from our tree budget and I would make it an official motion to request.
Right? Okay. So Dana, this is where we all laugh at me. because I try to repeat what we said. So,
Comic relief time here.
what's that, Riley?
Do you have your
It's
big
comic
hammer?
relief time. Go ahead, Katie.
Where's
I know,
your
I have to
hammer?
go upstairs to go get my gavel. I'll have it next time, I promise. Okay, so, and I can make motions, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that we request to be able to spend up to $350 to put in pollinator plant flats at Garden Park this spring and take it from the tree budget.
Yes.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay, so Lance seconds it. And any further discussion?
Just discussion from me that while we're calling them pollinators, often the native forbs have roots that go far further down than tree roots go. So it can also be used as land, for land stability and drainage from rainwater. So it's not just that we're serving butterflies, we're also serving water, helping to not retain water or helping to avoid erosion.
I like it. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. I think I did it.
Did it right.
Yay!
We'll whip you into shape sooner or later.
One of these meetings I'll get it right. Okay. All right.
All right, I will. So with that, I'll wait to hear from what the council decides, and then I'll send a copy of this to Dan, and he can get it on his credit card and get it ordered when we get approval.
And when is the next council meeting?
16th.
Okay.
Lance, if you would,
Yeah.
send a copy of that to the secretaries at the office so that can be included in the council packet.
All right, I will scan it and send it as an email to them.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so then that brings us to River Park. So do we have any type of FEMA update for River Park?
Nothing. You can take it off the agenda.
Right, so everything that was under FEMA has been taken care of. But has there been anything done by the trail?
That's all done. Yeah, it's all rock. It's
Okay.
open now. Yep. Yeah, it's all done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justin, have you seen very many issues of people using the trail inappropriately lately?
Not now.
Not now? Okay.
I just saw one area where
They'll be driving up it.
it must be
What's
big
that,
dogs.
Justin?
I just saw
Nothing?
one place along the path where this fall, at least, there was one spot must have been big dogs dumping. They had 3 dumps there of poop. So somebody's not picking it up, or not all, but majority of the people are, I think.
Right, they're using it appropriately. Okay, and then I can probably take this. Well, actually, no. So, Dan, do we need to get new quotes to paint lines because a new calendar year has appeared on the tennis court?
There's an active quote that we got from Rochester Sand and Gravel last fall to do the pickleball and the tennis lines.
And so that's active enough that
they may have to tweak it a little bit, but we have a general idea what it's going to cost. And I think I brought that to a last fall meeting.
yeah, so we just need to do it again now that it's getting closer, or how does
Yeah,
that work?
I guess if you want to, is that something you're looking forward to in the late spring or early summer that you want those painted? I can get Craig to, tweak that quote, or maybe it'll be the same. So, and then just bring it back. Because
Okay,
it's in the budget, so.
so that isn't something that I need to bring to council right now, correct?
Right.
But
So-
maybe in March?
Well, yeah, I can get a more active quote now, or a tweaked quote from Craig. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the calendar says it's February, but I'm not quite sure, is it? But anyway, okay. So.
and then at River Park, we're refinishing the benches that were by the playground, and also the bigger bench that sat out by the water's edge. So we should
I
have-
also
we should
mentioned to
have those
Dan,
installed this week yet. So.
Wait, what's going on this weekend, Dan?
We should have those benches back in place this week.
Okay, so you have some benches that are in the shop right now, and then you're going to get those put back
Yeah,
out?
we're putting new tops on the benches at River Park.
Nice. And then Lance, did you have something?
yeah, I have a log bench that I'm going to bring over to River Park to put along the river's edge for people. It's not a comfortable bench, but it's functional and it's heavy enough that people can't walk off with it.
I think it's very comfortable.
Oh no, it's not a Leopold bench.
It's not a Leopold?
No, no.
Which kind is it?
Oh, well, I'll send you a picture.
Okay. So, but you have a bench that Dan could put at any of the parks, or you want it at River Park?
Well, I think it's better at River Park just because it can sit along the river's edge if people want to sit there and look at the water go by.
And maybe that would make sense to have close to what's supposed to be a portage area?
Oh,
There's a place to take kayaks out, so we can have.
Oh. yeah, I suppose. Yeah, sure, it could go there. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So we kind of visited about. Oh, Nancy's not on here now. Okay, Carol Cowden Park.
Correct.
It looks so, Dana. It looks like Carl, but it's Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right, so we talked about that park already a little bit, and then Riverwood Hills Park. We're just kind of waiting for the grass to take once the snow melts. Is there anything else that will be? You said, Ryland, you said people were having a hard time finding it, so there's some things going on there.
Yeah, just I think it was on the either private message or citizens of Facebook, but there was a lady that was inquiring because I was just getting ready to mention that Dan and I talked here before the winter season started that to clear the paths over Riverwood Hills. So he's plowing the paths from Sunnyview, Mountain View, and Shady Oak Lane. So people, because there is a lot of people walking there with their dogs. So it's getting used. So I agreed, or I approved Dan to plow those paths. So.
Good idea.
That's fantastic.
And it's gotten some, and so that's what prompted the comment on Facebook. Somebody said, "Well, where is Riverwood Hills?" So I scanned a map that I had and sent them.
There's a map on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Is there?
Now.
So did you find it, Justin?
Yeah, it's on the Orinoco.com website. Under community, and then there's the amenities/services tab. Click that, and then
Oh, okay.
it gives a list of parks down at the bottom.
Is there a map too?
Yeah, you click on Riverwood Hills, and there's a PDF you can click.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
So was that kind of hard to find, or was that easy enough to find?
We can move it around.
Put it in a couple places, maybe. Right? So when Dan is clearing those trails, he's obviously not doing that one that's right in between the two houses, right?
Yeah, we put a sign up so people can go down there.
But
So
that
it's
one's not big enough.
It's an official path.
What's that?
It's an official path.
But that one's not being cleared. It's just those bigger ones that are being cleared, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, this one has some trees in it. And it'd be difficult to do anything other than.
Yeah, very
that's-
difficult. Is that getting any foot traffic, I wonder?
Well, I think it does during the summer because some people wanted it marked so they could feel like comfortable they could use it.
Exactly.
It is getting used during the winter too.
Okay, so you are seeing people using it, or the tracks
Right.
of people, right? So
There's
Dan,
footprints down to the yard.
go ahead, Dan. What did you say?
I said they're using it this winter. There's footprints through his yard. So
Fantastic. And then what about when you're clearing those paths? You're not necessarily using a truck. What are you using to clear those? I'm just curious.
no, I'm using the city truck.
So it is that big of a path. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's as wide as the plow, 8'6". So
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Okay. So then that brings us to Memorial Park, which is the park right by Tilly's. And we've had quotes for that as well. And I think that's in our budget as well. So to just add some more amenities there, like swing sets and some protection to the people on the playground from the foul line and things like that. So I suppose that's another thing. Dan, do you think we need to get an updated quote on that one too, so that could go in this spring or summer?
yeah, so far for Memorial, I brought those 2 quotes for the actual swing set. And I brought you quotes for blacktopping from SL Contracting, and also quotes for the wood mulch fill. So we have all those quotes, and I think we added them all up last fall and had them put in the budget. So just a matter of going back to those same companies and just seeing if there's any adjustment to those costs, and then putting it, in front of the council.
Okay, so it's similar to the tennis court painting lines. Is that accurate? That we just need to get it updated?
Yeah, same thing. And then once I bring the updated quotes, then you can put it in front of the council.
Okay, awesome. So Dan, while I still have your attention, how is the ice rink doing with this weird weather we're having, warm and cold, warm and cold?
There's good spots and bad spots on it. We're keeping it cleared off, and there are people using it. They're just skating around the rough spots. So
okay, great. And this is what, our second full season with the warming shed? Is it doing okay?
yeah, this is our second full.
Okay, and it's hanging in there?
It is. Yeah, it looks just like it did the day it was dropped off.
Awesome. Good. Okay, so now that brings us to the previous lake bed. And something that I added on here is, so first of all, Lance, was that the map?
Yes.
Can I see it?
Oh, well, it's not together. It's in 2 pieces.
That looks fabulous, though.
This is just a Google Earth map. And then I have a Garmin GPS trail map that I'm going to draw onto the Google map, because I'm not smart enough to figure out how to put them together electronically. So I've got to do it by hand.
That's fantastic, though. So was that the retaining wall that I could see on the Google Earth map?
Oh, no, there's the river. And then this is the park part, and this is the lake bed, and this is the river. So the trail goes out here and around in a couple of different spots.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the road I was seeing that I thought was the retaining wall.
The road is up here. Right.
Okay.
North
Fantastic.
is at the top.
Yeah, north is at the top?
Right.
Okay. So Ryland, were you requesting getting some trail signs out there?
Yeah, I asked Dan to look and where we get our signs from or wherever, and he had there's a multitude of signs of how we want to introduce trail access, hikers entrance, that type of thing. So there's quite a few, and we didn't have a chance to show that to everybody, but everybody, if you want to send it out and have everybody look at it to your committee, and you can come back in March and decide which sign you'd like to have. I think there's 2 access points, one by the parking area and one down by the river. So I think it'd be good to have an access point. They're brown signs, and just put them on a post and kind of help people. And I think the sign or the map that Lance is working on, that could be, I think that'd be, and we talked about this earlier on about having a map up by where you sign up for camping on the kiosk as you come into the park too. And just, we can talk to Chad Tracy and see what they would recommend for an outdoor sign, that type of thing. So if somebody want to take a look at that.
I'm just looking at the map that's on the website, and I could print that and put the trail outline on that, and then it's they could just redo that, because that's probably a little clearer. Well, I mean, this is a fine, okay map, but since this one's already there, then we don't have to reinvent a wheel.
Well, and I'm wondering if it would be as simple as doing a screenshot on your phone and then editing, just to get it done fast, and then editing it by putting some lines on that too. That's even a possibility, but Lance is smiling at me on that one.
You're asking, yeah, I'm an old fart, so you have to find a younger person to do that.
Dana, do you have any recommendations on that?
I don't. I've done what you've said for the 5K that we do for Gold Rush, and it's not pretty when I do it, but I know how to do it. But I just had a comment on the entrance to the park or to the trails. So I use those trails a lot. My sister and I, we snowshoe out there. We walk out there all the time. And so right now we're just hopping off the retaining wall into the lake bed area. Are you suggesting people go down through the woods to get onto those trails, or all the way around until the retaining wall's not there? Or is there talk about maybe putting in some sort of steps? I'm just wondering.
So a while back, we did discuss trying to figure out some steps for there, and it just kind of got to be a challenge to think about, what would stay there and be stable and whatnot. But Dan, are you able to answer that? I feel bad. I haven't even been down there yet. But maybe, Ryland, like you said, there was access from the parking lot. So you're referring to that. So Dana, a while back, we were going to put some more camping sites on the bottom.
Okay.
But we changed our mind, but that for now, but that area is open down there. And so there's kind of a trail from the parking lot. Is that what you were referring to, Ryland?
No, the signs I was talking about was right where the path started, the tall grass. And Dana brings a good point, though, about getting down to the river entrance. Mm-hmm. Is you got to walk around the whole wall, otherwise you're jumping down, and there's liability with that. And there may be some wood steps that could be a platform that could be built with 3 or 4 steps and handrails off the rock wall, but that's not handicap, but handicap, you go clear around the east side and come in from the east side of it, around the wall.
Well, when you were saying trail access from the parking lot, where were you thinking about putting that?
Well, I think so from the parking lot, if you go to the north of the parking lot, that's where it goes around the parking spots, the camping area. Mm-hmm. So there'd be one sign there. You could see that from the loop that's on the driveway as you walk in. And the other sign would be down by the river where the tall grass starts in the trail, but it's not, you have to walk around the long wall before you get to it. Otherwise you're having people jump over the wall, or 2 feet high, 2.5 feet high, so.
Right, that's kind of what I think we should figure out a good way to, a good starting point. You could just suggest they go through the woods, like you just said, but then that's through the campground.
Well, there's that other one. Isn't there a sign where it says no vehicles or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, but then you'd have to go through the campground. But there is and then there's also the trail at the very, very beginning of the park. That night leads down there, but
the people that are using the trail, I guess, they can walk a little bit further around the wall to get to the one by the river entrance. And
we're not doing that, Rylan. We're jumping.
Supposed to be getting exercise, Dana.
I know.
Steps. It's all about steps.
Well, I think steps requires a ramp.
Yeah.
There is another area of access. It's more over toward the garage itself in Orinoco Park, but there's like a, I want to call it a wash area where the lake bed used to be. I know Vite used it to pile some debris, and Roger and I did some access work down there for trees, to cut down some old dead trees. But there is an access area in there that walks right out on that riverbed.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. You can actually see it on the map on the website.
Right.
But when people are parking in the parking lot, I think they're looking for an access from there. Is that what, can you access it from the parking lot?
Yes,
that
absolutely.
area you're talking?
Yeah,
Yep.
It would have to be marked so that people would be aware of it, but you can actually drive down into it if you wanted to. We did when we were hauling stuff out of there. When we hauled the Vite stuff out, we did it with a great big truck. So I know that it can be done, but we'll just have to mark it.
Right.
And I know Dan knows where that access is, so Dan could mark it.
Yeah, as long as as long as you could see it. I mean, people are still going to jump off the wall, but if somebody really wanted to follow a trail and needed to follow a trail, couldn't jump off it, then they could.
So Dana, do you go past the retaining wall and then walk along the lake bed, and then do you come back up in the woods, or do you just do the circle and come back where you started?
I do. We've done both. I sometimes do just the circle, kind of depending on how cold it is and how windy it is out there. But oftentimes when it's nice, like in the fall, we'd come back up through the woods or even go on an extra loop.
Is there still an old dock down there?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like I need to go on a field trip. But
oh, it's so much fun. It's beautiful.
If you're standing down on that side of that dock, looking at it from the shoreline, to the right of that dock is where that trail access is that goes up through.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's what you're talking.
Yes.
I've done that one. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was talking about. That would be a good, as long as there was signage, and people would know that they didn't have to.
You could see that sign from the parking lot, I think.
Right.
I think if we groomed it once or twice, I think people would become aware of it and be more apt to use it as well.
Yep. Agreed.
that wouldn't be as easy to groom as the Riverwood trails.
It'd be just as easy. It's very easy access.
Okay.
I mean,
And
it's
there'd be a
already
place-
obviously, it's there. You can tell, even if it hasn't been groomed. I mean, I don't know if it's been groomed or not, but you can tell it's a trail right
Yep.
now.
It's mowed.
It's what?
It's mowed, yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. Whoa, we're reaching that 7:40 mark, you guys. All right. That's right. Okay, so Lance, have you finished the inventory of trees at all the city parks?
Yes.
Or the ones that you were going to do. I don't think were going to do Riverwood Hills.
No, there's no point to there. And I didn't do Memorial Park. And I didn't do the 3rd Avenue Park, but they have 3rd Avenue has about 6 trees, so
exactly.
I'll work on the rest.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna Lance, you and I can look at that. Oh, and Dawn, can I send you that DNR grant opportunity, or have you seen it?
Please go ahead and send it to me.
Okay.
Yep.
And how does that work, Ryland? As people of the Parks and Trails Committee, we can fill out those grant things and share them with Dan and see if there's anything. And then we can just submit those through, Dan can submit those, right? Grant requests?
Yeah, I think it'd be good just make the city council aware of it. There's no matching funds if you read through it, so that's good. You may want to send it out to the whole committee just to see if they get their opinions too. But there is a time area or a time. I think it opens up sometime February 22nd or something like that. So, but you may want to send it out to the committee to get make sure everybody's aware of it.
Yeah.
But if you decide to do it, I think it'd be good to let the council know.
Okay. Yeah. So Dawn and Lance, since you guys have done that a lot, if you can take a look at it and if you have the time and energy to work on that, and then we can let council know that we're looking at it and so on. Is that okay?
Hey, sure.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. And then in the spring, we're going to check out the trees that we planted in the lake bed. I suppose I should move that up here kind of.
What do you mean check out?
What's that?
What do you mean check out?
Well, just see how they survive the winter.
Okay.
Dana, have you seen them? You've seen the tree shelters, right? In that area when you're walking along, there should be tree shelters there unless they're all laying down.
Better not be. Trish and I stuck them in very tightly for the winter.
I don't know. I don't know if I've noticed them.
But when you jump off the retaining wall, we're hoping. What's that, Lance?
You had to walk past them.
Well, I'm obviously not observant. I'm super interested in the beaver situation we have down there, if anybody's noticed that.
Hey.
We lost a lot of trees to some beavers.
Right up in the hill?
They're in the middle, right when you come into, again, my dogs. I jumped down the wall, but not far in, and they're kind of in the middle. There was a grove of, I don't know what type of tree they are, but the beavers have been working on those.
Yeah, better take a walk.
Lance, I have pictures. I'll send them.
Okay.
I took
All right.
some pictures. I'll send them to you. I think I have your number.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Have you seen any sign of damming, Dana?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I can show you guys. If anybody wants to take a walk this week before it gets cold. I'm free. I'm free tomorrow. I'm free on Wednesday and Thursday.
So one of your pictures could even, so when Kathy sent this Zoom link today, everybody was carbon copied.
Okay.
So you could even send a picture on that one too, and we could see if that works out.
Perfect. I'll do that.
Dan, are you aware of the beavers down there?
I haven't been down there since we last mowed. And I guess, I take that back. We did cut up a tree that had blown down, but we didn't get very far into the trail when we did that. So we do have local trappers if you need to trap them.
Can they do that in the city limits like that? Probably, right?
Yeah.
What I'm curious, well-placed beaver dams can be a good thing. Is there? Not here? Why? And why is that?
Well, not on the Zumbro River. After we spent $5 million getting it fixed.
Well, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I just what is why is this a bad location for I mean, I don't know either way, but I'm just curious, why is it a bad location for a beaver dam?
I have no idea.
I guess it would probably cause some erosion with any high water. So, but that's just
I'm pretty sure it wouldn't last because the water comes through there with a vengeance in the spring, and also with any significant rain event, a dam wouldn't last because it would be overtopped and washed out without too much problem.
So I'm not seeing a need for tracking.
It can also undermine the reinforcements that they've spent a lot of effort putting in. So I don't know that. I think we'd have to ask the DNR guy that designed all that. But I'd be surprised if he would wouldn't say that it's probably not a good idea to let the beavers work in there.
Yeah, my understanding is that they can, if they're left to do this at lower levels, they can it can help control the water, and over the long haul, it's a good thing.
Well, you and I have a different opinion on that. So,
I'm not saying it's a universally good thing. I'm saying that there are places. Anyway, okay, well. Maybe I'm just saying that I don't think we can assume this is a bad place for them. We could check that out. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'll go down there the next day or so and take some pictures and send them to Joe, our city engineer, and he can check with the DNR.
Rylan,
good, bad, or indifferent.
I'll take a walk with you down there.
I'm sorry, Dana.
I'll take a walk with you down there.
Okay.
Awesome. Does anyone have anything else? I think do you guys agree the only thing that needs to be brought to council is to buy prairie plants and to tell them that we're okay with working with master gardeners? Are those the two council items?
Are we saying only master gardeners or just volunteers?
Well, volunteers as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's important because that was part of the master gardeners thing, was getting more volunteers to work in the city regarding landscaping or.
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, one thing I'd like to do is volunteer to help take down some of the buckthorn. It would be great to have volunteers who could be attended to, but also do a variety of different things.
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
That looks really good for grants too, when you have people from the community helping, and it actually, for matching funds, it counts as $20 an hour.
And you've done that before, right?
I have several times, and I was just actually in Rochester spreading seed as part of a CPL grant.
Like, how does that work if we have people out there with hand tools and whatnot to try to? You wouldn't really want them to remove buckthorn with hand tools, but maybe, I don't know.
Why not? Why not? That's with right? when I've led volunteers, it's with just a knife and herbicide. And it's not glyphosate or glyphosate. It's
so
Garlon.
Not removal by any means. It's just a killing.
It's just killing, and they're left to stand. Yes, although some people want to bring a saw and just saw the tree down, which is fine. I mean, I like to be efficient. We just ring the tree, put herbicide, and go on to the next tree and start with the berry bearing. And when I walk through Garden Park, it's like, oh, all those juicy buckthorns that needed to be taken down.
I like how you said that, berry bearing. Right?
Yes. Technically, that's not correct because they're not technically berries, but it just sounds good. Berry bearing buckthorn, yes.
So I don't know if all of you know this, but Lance taught me this, is that there's male and female plants. And so that's why you have some of the trees that are producing berries and some are not. And so obviously, but you're saying they're really not berries, but those are the ones that help spread the buckthorn.
Right. So if you can turn off the tap, in other words, if you can just hit the berry bearing each year, you eventually don't have new buckthorn plants. And the males are neither here nor there. They can mature and eventually die, but they're not spreading buckthorn, and they're not spreading berries.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, one thing while we're talking about this, how would I, if I wanted to volunteer to do this? And I'm also a licensed commercial applicator, but as a volunteer, is there an avenue that I would go through to volunteer to do this?
Well, right now and Dan can comment on this, but Public Works has gone through a lot of the area in Orinoco Park. We've had a volunteer for the last couple of years go through Orinoco Park as well and spraying for the buckthorn. But if we've told that person that they would not be able to do it again unless they get their license. But there would probably be a liability statement or something like that of working on.
My understanding is that you don't need to be licensed if you're not being paid for it. So, I mean, I've worked as a volunteer for many years, and I've had people, sort of report me to the MDA, and the MDA is like, we fully support it. This is before I became licensed, because this is my business. But as a volunteer, the MDA would respond back to the complainers, saying we wish more people would do this. So you only need a license if you are being paid for it.
Right. Or if you're prescribing treatments
this is
for
not
other
a paid
people.
job either. So.
Sorry?
Lance, what did you say?
Or if you're prescribing treatment for other people to do.
Okay. Yeah. So this, I've done this for 10 years with the city, and there've been, oftentimes people objecting to any kind of herbicide use. And I've been put through the ringer several times, and it's like, okay, go ahead and report me. And the MDA, Alice, can't think of her last name, writes a cheerful note back saying, we wish more people were doing this. And I've had volunteers, and through the DNR, through the CPL grants, hundreds of volunteers use hand tools and herbicide, all for good. I mean, it's so far, no, knock on wood, so far there's been no incidents of any issues.
So I feel like in the city of Orinoco, Ryland, do you agree that that would be something that she could work with Dan on? Because does Dan have volunteer applications that she can sign? How does that work? I suppose it would be in the city office.
I think there are some liability agreements. If you get fall in the woods or whatever, there might be some liability. So there may be some aspects of that.
I'd really like to check with USDA and make sure that from what I know, you do need a license if you're going to apply pesticide.
Check with the MDA too.
Yeah, I have a contact at USDA, so.
Yeah, I don't think that USDA necessarily
has nothing to do with it.
What's that?
USDA has nothing to do with pesticide applications.
I think it's MDA, and I can assure you, that you'll find out unless they've changed it very recently. But it's the MDA, and the first name is Alice somebody or other for licensing. And I am also licensed. But for volunteers, if you're not getting paid for doing it, you don't need to be licensed.
So, Dawn, how soon do you see yourself being energized to do this kind of activity? Anytime soon, or not for a while?
Not for a month.
Okay. So we have some time to look into it. But, Dawn, if you're okay with coordinating with the city staff and Dan, I think that's the answer to your question from before, right? How do you do this?
Yeah, okay, great. Great. And when you say city staff, do you mean Dan?
Well, Kathy and Geraldine.
Okay. So maybe I can just either contact Alice at the MDA and or print out the licensing requirements. And like I said, also I am licensed. And then talk with Dan from there, if that works, or am I waiting for something else?
Dan, does that sound good?
Sounds like a good start.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Does anyone have anything else that we want to cover this evening? Okay. I saw everyone think about it for a second, so that's good. So our next meeting will be Monday, March 1st And I make a motion to end the meeting.
I second.
Right? It's all over the place. I love it. So Trish, I'm going to have you make the motion, and Dawn, you get to second. At 7:55. Oh, Ron, what did I do? See, this is, I told you, they laugh at me, Ron, because I try to do the right rules of order, and I love it. I love it. Well, Happy New Year, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This has been wonderful.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Happy New Year. I love it.